Now we are.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for hopping on. I am Samantha Shepard, the owner and founder of Samantha Shepard Consulting. And I am so excited for today's workshop because I have the beautiful, amazing Bridget Hom with me. And she is a fellow expert in marketing and sales. And I am just so excited for you guys to hear from her. And whenever we're done today, I'm not very good at multitasking when I'm on lives. I'm going to put all of her links in the chat. That way you can see everything that she does. She actually has a free book offer for all of you as well. So definitely check that out. Bridget is definitely an expert in really she's really, really good at finding where the needs are with her clients, finding exactly where like the little holes might be. And she's an expert at really making sure that they fill them. Because on today's workshop, we're talking about sales and marketing.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're not the same thing, right, Bridget? They're different.
They're different and they're so necessary for business growth for entrepreneurs. I literally just realized I'm only wearing one earring. I hope no one minds that. Yeah, I don't know where it went. It must have flown off when I put my blazer on. But we're showing up here for a beautiful mess. But the truth is, in the world of entrepreneurship, you can wear one earring and still show.
And now I'm checking mine. Do I have both?
You have both your, but and I appreciate your introduction. Yeah, in sales, in business, you really want to master the art of empowered selling. And actually, hey Samantha, you could do this next time. So you see how my link is right next to my name? That's my calendar link right there. Boom.
Oh, all right. Yeah. And guys, tech is always changing. She just taught me a couple little things literally 30 seconds before we hopped on there. But that's why you partner with people like us, right? Like I just had a VIP meeting with my VIPs yesterday. And I talked about the power of outsourcing because too many entrepreneurs, we go into business for ourselves, right? We want to control our time, our income, all the things. But just because you're in business for yourself does not mean you have to do it by yourself. So it's really, really being strategic on finding the right people. And that is the entire reason why I even started my VIP program is I wanted to be able to give people access to expert market advice without having to pay the dollars to have somebody on staff and then the high overhead. So all of you, while you're watching this today, how can you be an outsourced resource for your clients to also kind of fill that gap for them?
Exactly. And what I love about what you just said is you really want to know how to do it yourself too. You want to know how to outsource, you want to know how to delegate, but the number one problem I see for most entrepreneurs is that they don't master learning the skill set of selling, branding, marketing themselves and staying in the right mindset while they're trying to grow their business. And so they instantly start like outsourcing to get the perfect website. And then they're like, well, I need the business cards, even though their business is mostly virtual. Right. And then we try to get all these pieces, in place externally, but we forget internally. We need to be focused on mastering that skill set so that we can, market. I call it SEO for your client's mind, market to the right people and sell, AKA serving others with solutions to the right prospects. Yeah. But I love that you have a VIP program. I think that's fantastic. I need to get on that. Coaching program.
Well, I think a big thing as a business owner too is like we need to be able to find the needs of our clients and then fill those needs. That's how we are able to effectively market our business. And I think sometimes one of the conversations I had with some clients literally yesterday was all about marketing mindset and how there's usually 3 barriers that hold them back. And everyone watching this, please keep in mind, it's impossible to get to a sale if you don't know how to market. So like everything builds on that foundation. And it's almost like you can't become a super profitable business without a product. Like people forget the steps and they get them all confused. And this time of year is full of the shiny things. Have you ever heard that phrase before?
I just did a training on how to overcome shiny object syndrome because it's so true for us entrepreneurs and coaches. Like, oh, that looks so good. That AI program over here, right? Yeah. Like, and then this program over there, and this. How do you differentiate and discern what's right for you?
Yeah. I honestly think that most people who do programs, I think that one of the number one reasons why they don't see the success and the ROI that they want out of that program is because they flip-flop and they don't stick with it enough. And we have to let our time, our effort, and our message compound out. And you can't speed up time. I've tried. and I've failed. Okay. We've all probably been there. But a lot of times you have to, it's all about people. They want the trendy thing. You need to focus on timeless. You want timeless strategies that'll be applicable now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Are they going to edit and kind of morph a little bit? Yes. But I think sometimes, especially January, like if you're watching this, I'm super curious how many new shiny programs or ads or sponsorships or packages you've either been emailed, spammed, texted, or all over your social feed. Like it's daily.
I know. And I've gotten a million of them. Actually, I got an amazing email blast. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I should totally do a webinar for entrepreneurs this Friday. So it gives you ideas too, like going back to the organic market research, right? If you see something you like, see how you can modify it to actually help you to speak to your prospects better. But yes, I get you. I've gotten a million emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that you always said, what?
It's hard to navigate it. It's confusing because everything looks good, but then it's like you've already invested time and money in these 3 other things. Really let your efforts compound out and dive into those before you add 10 more things onto your to-do list.
Well, they did a great job marketing, right?
They did. They did.
The one thing that I want to hone in on that you said was really making sure you understand the basics and that you're consistent with them. Marketing and selling yourself is like going and working out for the first time. How many of you make New Year's resolutions? You're going to hit that gym or hit the workout apps, right? And then you're like a week in, you give up. The problem, number one problem I see in entrepreneurs and coaches is they give in to giving up too soon.
Absolutely.
Right? Do you see that too?
Yeah. Well, I think because we live in a microwave society and everybody wants something quick here and now. And they think if they're not seeing massive results a week after they completely transformed their program, that it's not working. And that's not true. Albert Einstein actually said, this is in relation to the financial world, but he said compounding interest is the most powerful most powerful thing in the universe. But I think that what I pull from that is that compounding is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And that applies to more than just the financial world. It applies to business, efforts, learning. And a lot of it comes back to what you said earlier, is about mindset. A lot of people that I work with, I find that they either deal with imposter syndrome, where they think I don't deserve this, or they struggle with, well, I don't have a formal degree in this. I haven't been trained in this. Therefore, I can't ever learn it. But that's not true. It's just a matter of plugging into the right people. And many of you are probably thinking about different areas of your business that could probably use a little extra advice, extra tips, extra help. And that's why Bridget and I are here today. We want to really kind of help just encourage you and give you some tips and insights on how marketing and sales are married. They're different, and really how to elevate your business in 2024 by using them in the right way.
Exactly. And, someone reached out to me on Facebook last week and we were talking about, she was actually looking for a coach. And I said, well, you're kind of propositioning me. You need to tell me what you want to work on, and then I'll tell you if it's an alignment, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing that if you're going to look into programs, like we talked about shiny object syndrome, if you're going to look into a program this year or some accountability or, something like a VIP program, you want to make sure that you know what you want. What is your ultimate destination going to look like of your future successful self? Like be problem aware and solution seeking. Know what your needs are. Instead of, and that actually can help you break free from the shiny object syndrome, because now you're searching with a skill set in mind of like, hey, this is what I want, how I want to level up. Can you offer this?
Right.
Show me what this is, and ask for the ROI. That's absolutely fine to do.
And that's where social proof and testimonials are really, really big. Not only as an entrepreneur to ask for them when you're looking to work with either a coach, a consultant, or a new program, but then also as an entrepreneur, you need to be proactive in asking for them from your existing clients, your existing customers. My husband and I started our very first business 20 years ago, and it took us about 5 years to kind of get our feet. We were in our early 20s, like completely clueless, like didn't no idea what we were doing, right? So it was about 5 years in, and we realized we need to be able to mine the gold in our backyard, which is our existing clients and customers who already like, know, and trust us, have worked with us, have done transactions with us. Too many entrepreneurs, and this is one of the top 2 things I'm recommending to all my clients this year, is you have to have a client retention program in place. You have to have a strategy to follow up with your clients to nurture that relationship, because I honestly think too many business owners get so focused on the sale, and they forget what comes next. You work so hard to develop that relationship and to nurture that, to get that sale, whatever it might be. Why would you stop there? Like, why? That's the hard part's done. Now it's nurturing and growing that relationship, whether it's a thank you card. We actually still send thank you cards, like literally snail mail with a stamp. Why? It sets you apart.
Exactly.
Anybody can send a text message or an email, and then how frequently are you following up with your clientele? That's one of the programs that I love partnering with my clients, is finding out the right client retention program for their business. Everyone's different. But here's something that I learned in college. And Bridget, you're probably like me, that a lot of things that you use and apply now, you never learned in like a formal setting, right? I mean, I have a degree in marketing and advertising, and I paid all this money to get a college degree. I value that education. And the one thing that has stuck true is a quote that I learned, that it said, every month that goes by that your customers are not hearing from you, you're losing 10% of your influence over their buying decisions. So if you go months without talking to your clients, or how many of you just sent a Christmas card in December and that was the only communication you had with your clients in 2023, they probably looked at it and said, oh, that's nice, and went in the trash, right?
And yes, and here, if you did the Christmas card and that's the only touch point you had, don't hire sabotage on your mental team and say, well, they don't want to hear from me, right? Because it's been so long. Truthfully, they worked with you at some point, so they do like you. Right. So just, don't get in the sabotaging mindset. Be able to take the empowered action and then reach out and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And like John Maxwell says, like the client retention program, the best question to ask your previous clients is, who do you know that I should know?
Right. Absolutely. Very Yep. Now, my question for you, Bridget, is this. So you and I we live and breathe the marketing and sales world, right? And that's not a normal language for a lot of other people. So what would you say are 2 things that would help a business owner bridge from going from a marketing strategy over to a sale? Is it a phrase? Is it an action? What would you say would really help an entrepreneur go from that nurturing, relationship building, knowledge sharing position over to really asking for a sale? Because I feel a lot of business owners are great at sharing their expertise, but then they struggle on creating that bridge on actually getting paid for what they're good at.
Absolutely. I tell the people that I work with, I'm like, are you on the content creating crazy train? Because all they're doing is this cycle of just creating more content. Now, that's so important to being visible, because according to Forbes, 78% of people outsell their peers because they have a presence on social media. Right. So that's absolutely necessary. But how we marry the two is you have to have conversations. I've talked to people on my calendar link, and I go, where are you networking? Where are you meeting people and having conversations? Because content creates curiosity. Conversations create clients.
Yes.
So I said, where are you meeting people? They're like, well, they'll eventually reach out. And I'm like, no. Sales is the action. You must take action. And I talk about doing empowered selling. Value. I've shared every component of my programs, my Stuck Already programs, Find Your Freedom programs, with everyone I've met based on where they're at. So I always recommend having a calendar link that makes you accessible.
Yeah.
When I started out, I was like, that's impersonal. I'm like, you can email me. We can have a whole email conversation. And I'm like, how many hours am I wasting a week trying to schedule and align our calendars? So have a calendar link that is accessible. Like BridgetHom.me. I actually, side note, a little tip, I used a company, it's a website called Namecheap, to brand my calendar link, BridgetHom.me. So that's simply a Calendly link.
Yeah.
So something like that, make yourself accessible. That is your first step in sales. If you're not accessible, they're not going to find you, or your competition's going to find them, your prospects, because they're more accessible than you. So that's the first step. Number 2, Also get into networking. You know, it's so you can ask the question, who do you know that I should know? Because sales is a muscle and sales is a conversational muscle. So you have to be exercising that daily. If you're in the entrepreneurship world, I recommend doing 25 meetings a week. 30 minutes, 25 meetings to start to exercise that sales muscle, because you don't know what you don't know. And you're going to start to build the plane, or build the plane while you're flying it, because that's what we do in entrepreneurship, right? We're constantly learning. We become Google search engine. Yeah. So it's constantly learning how people are and what they want. And so you need to be out there with people to know what they want, how you want to continue to market yourself, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that we make a lot of assumptions as entrepreneurs. And I am a big, big advocate of market research. I'm always asking my clients and other women in business, what are your frustrations? What do you want? And it's so hilarious. I met this woman through Facebook. Now, keep in mind, social media and tech has been an amazing advancement, because you're like me. Like, we're older than most all social media. Okay. Like, my 2 teenage daughters call me old because I'm older than Facebook. Like, whatever, it's totally fine. But the reason I say that is because we've seen things transition and grow. And I honestly think that one of the advantages that was there prior to tech advances was the important focus on networking and conversations with people. I think one of the negatives to social media and internet and like technology advances is it's made people lazy. And they rely too heavily on typing a message and don't actually focus on conversations. Now, can you have a conversation over a DM? Absolutely. Can you have a really good conversation on a post? Absolutely. But it's our job as an entrepreneur, like you said, Bridget, to take action, to then take that next step to have a conversation with somebody, a phone call, a scheduled appointment. And I think the more confusing it is for our audience to know how to get in touch with us, that's a higher barrier of resistance.
Oh, 2 clicks? That's too many. 1 click.
Yep. But I think sometimes we think, this goes back to the shiny syndrome. Like, we think we have to be all fancy and have all these special funnels and all these special, like, guys, we have to get back to basics. People want simple and easy ways to contact and communicate with you.
Basic, very basic, you know. And when people get on my calendar, this is actually one of my how to close prospects within 30 minutes trainings. It's just a simple question. Build relatability. People buy your authority, your credibility, and relatability before they ever look at your product, message, or service with openness. So I always say, I'm curious, when you thought about us chatting today, what was your thought? Because it's not what was the goal or objective. It's just, let's establish a direction in this conversation so that we can both make empowered decisions to align with the destination. And hopefully it's partnership with you in some way, right?
Yeah. But I think we have to be okay that if it's not in alignment, we have to be okay with saying no.
Well, yes. And I always say, everyone's true. Let's just talk real and raw sales. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. And so I'm going to get real and raw with you here, because the people listening, they have to know that it's like, if you're in the mindset of thinking, could this person be a potential client? You won't step down that path confidently in presenting a solution for them.
Right.
If you're thinking like, are they, just every single person you meet is a prospect, a client, or, very important, a referral partner.
Yes, absolutely.
And that means you have to be a good referral partner too. Like, you can't just go out there and be like, hey, be a referral partner, refer me out. You have to be referable, but you also have to know how to refer out others. That's how you build that culture of connectivity around you and continue to grow your business, like us, like what we're doing.
Yeah, we met. And for those of you that are curious, we met at an event in Florida. I'm in Pennsylvania. And I flew down there when I had my first surgery and my first sling a few months ago, you know. But you have to put yourself out there, because you never know who you're going to meet. Who you're going to meet. If I wouldn't have gone down there, I never would have met Bridget. And there's several other women that I met at that event that I'm still in contact with. You have to be open to the importance of strategic partnerships. And I'm always a student of my trade. I think all of us should be. And I'd actually dedicate about an hour to an hour and a half every single week to just learn more about my field, so then I can pour more into my clients. And I think too many times as entrepreneurs, because we're so busy, because we do have a lot of plates to spin, we have a lot of things to do. But if we stop our own personal knowledge and growth, that's going to stop the growth of our business. So you
Exactly.
have to make sure that you're whatever areas you're wanting to focus on. Like if you're like, for example, some of you are hopped on today because you say, I want to improve marketing my business to lead to more sales. This is you investing in your business. You're investing time, you're investing your headspace. And from today, Bridget and I are both going to put our links in the chat. That way, an actionable step forward is meeting with one of us to talk about, where can I grow my business? Where can I go in 2024? And the reason why Bridget and I are doing this today in January is because this is the time of year when it's most popular in our frame of mind for growth and strategy. So
100%. And, going back to the word time that you said, there's no such thing as time management. Did you know that?
I did.
It's
I
only
learned that a year ago, and it made me so upset at first. I was like, what do you mean? But I'm going to let you explain it.
There's only task management and mind management. And for the entrepreneur, if we're in the wrong mindset, that's our launch pad for how we do life, business, and relationships. Yeah. And so you want to know how to get into the right headspace because 90% of your communication is nonverbal. And so whatever's in your headspace, that's going to be communicated over the beautiful way you express your product, message, or service, or how you're trying to relate to that person. It does not matter. They're going to hear that nonverbal. But the other thing with the tasks, I tell my people all the time, how you structure your day, you still want hours of operation as an entrepreneur, right? Couldn't we? I mean, we could work forever. We could work 24/7, right, Samantha?
Yeah. Because it's fine. I mean, you love what you do. Like I read this quote the other day. It said entrepreneurs are the only people in the world that will give up a 40-hour work week to work 80. And I'm like, that's valid.
Yes, but sometimes, and I've seen this a lot, actually, sadly. Many coaches they get burned out because they give in to giving up too soon because they don't adopt a sales strategy, a marketing strategy, branding strategies. They don't adopt those things and make them their own. So they give up, and then they don't know how to structure their workday because, right, when you were an employee, you had your workday structured. But yes. So what I tell every single person that comes across my path, I'm like, are you structuring your day according to these 6 components? Number 1, mindset programming. You have to have a plan of action to get your headspace right, hire the right mental team. Number 2, focus on your clients. Like you said, your client retention program. There's a great app called Reach that it's just a text message app, but you can actually text everyone at the same time. And it looks like it's just texting one person. So something like that. Number 2, or 3, prospects. Number 4, prospecting. ABP. They say always be closing. ABP, always be prospecting.
Absolutely.
And then networking and then content creation. And you need those 6 components every single day. So you can put them between any hours of operation. So those 2 things, I recommend you watching right now, set that up for yourself. If you need me to repeat the list, you could actually just message me on Facebook. I'll totally do this. And because this will help you to be successful in the fast lane of success.
Yeah. I think too many times people wake up on Monday mornings and they're just in go mode and they forget to kind of take that step to plan on purpose. And what you just said with planning your day is it all aligns with your goals. And this time of year, I have my 12-year-old the other day asked me, she said, Mom, what's this thing about resolutions? Like people keep talking about it. So it was a really good opportunity to talk to her about the difference between a resolution and a goal. And as business owners, I think sometimes we don't dive deep enough because if we really want to be effective with our time, our tasks, and our mental space, we have to know what we are fighting for and what our goals are, because our goals will then dictate what all that looks like. Okay. So if one of my things is like, hey, I want to get healthier this year, but I don't put it in my calendar anywhere to meal prep or go to the gym or book time to actually make the food, they're not in alignment. So if you don't even know what your goals are, that would be step number 1. I just put together a whole strategic goal planning workshop and worksheet for my VIPs. If anybody's interested, just put in the chat and I'll send that to you. But it's one of those things that it's impossible for us to know how to structure our day and our tasks if we don't know what our goals are. And a lot of times they're surface level. Yes. You know what I mean? So I do that. Have you ever done the 7 deep activity with the goals? So I'll ask you what your goals are, and maybe you'll give me like 2 goals, right? And let's say your goal is, I want to double my income this year. Okay. I will then write that goal on a piece of paper and I'll write 1 to 7 down below it. And then I'll ask myself, why is that important? And then that's number 1. And then whatever that answer is. And then I'll go, why is that important? And then I'll write that on the next line. By the time people usually get stuck around like 4. But I would encourage everybody, if you haven't done this yet, it's one of the best activities you can do because it's really going to reframe your mindset, which is going to reframe your heart. It's going to frame your time, your tasks and activities. Because if you are crystal clear on your goals for 2024, marketing and sales will actually be an easy flow right into that.
Agreed. And it's all about that destination. And like you said, if we don't put it in front of us, we'll live under the influence of circumstances, environments, situations, emotions. Feelings aren't your friends when it comes to marketing and sales and growing a business.
Right. Say that again, one more time. Feelings not our friend.
Feelings are not our friends when it comes to growing our business. Because my feelings are like, hey, yeah, Bridget, go for a walk. And maybe you should go to walk to Starbucks. And then, it's like when you give a mouse a cookie, right? I read my kids' stories. When you give a mouse a cookie, they'll probably want milk. And then they'll probably want a big chair. And then they'll probably watch a TV show. So feelings cannot run our show when it comes to growing our business. The other thing I always talk about when I say honor, and I do that exercise, we call it the 5 whys. It's just branded differently. But it's a great exercise. So I highly recommend you guys to do that. But you want to structure your day that honors not only your goals, but your roles. And I think you and I understand, we're both wives, we're moms, right? I have 3 savages. That's very different. My 12-year-old or 13-year-old is like, resolution. What's for dinner, Mom? Why am I talking about this? We actually hired him a team coach because, coach mom does not work as well as others. Right? But he does do some things. I suggested brain dump and a couple other strategies. And he's like, that was kind of cool. Different. But how do we honor our roles and our goals? Because the number one cause of burnout I found is that people have gotten so focused on one part of who they are that they forget to honor everything else about them. So it's like, how many roles you get to play a day? And so just doing one thing a day to honor each role and be intentional about it, that will give way to maintaining that balance that we so desperately crave. It's part of the freedom component. And aligning with those goals and doing them, we'll do them better because we have our roles in our mindset as well.
Right. So if we understand exactly what the goals are that we're striving for every single week, and the reason why I'm talking more on a weekly basis is a lot of times, a lot of my clients, though, they can't even think about their annual goals because we just finished December. If you think about all of your goals in their bigness, it can be very intimidating and overwhelming. So I always believe start with the end and work backwards. So if your goal is to make, for example, $100,000 this year, break that down to monthly. Then break that monthly goal down to weekly and break that weekly goal down to daily. And if you know exactly what you have to accomplish and do on a daily basis, it will actually simplify your tasks and your daily activities for your schedule. Because if we master our task management, it's going to allow us to really master our business growth. And when it comes to growing your business, especially in 2024, there's a training that I do called the 3 Ps of marketing. And this is kind of the entire foundation that everything builds upon. So if you're watching this today and you're like, I just feel like I'm throwing spaghetti against the wall, my job is to make that spaghetti into a delicious meal for you and your family by organizing it with the 3 Ps. And this is something that Bridget and I have worked together. We've talked about this, about different strategies back and forth, but you can have the best strategic plan in the world. But if you don't know who your people are, you don't know what platforms you're using, and you don't know what processes you are to reach those people, you're going to struggle. So those are the foundational things that I think every entrepreneur needs to grow from. So if you have confusion about that, and that's why Bridget and I are here today, why we're hopping on, and I think I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee already.
Nice.
We want to be here as a resource for you as entrepreneurs. We have been in the business world for many years. We have seen all the ups, all the downs, and everything in between. Our job is to simplify it, and that's where it comes from, having the right strategic partners on your team. Some are internal, some are external, to really just help you hit those goals. And Bridget, probably, I didn't ask her this directly, but I know me personally, and you can vouch for this. I have mentors that I go to for coaching, for advice, for knowledge. because you never want to get to a point in business where you're too good to learn from somebody else.
Oh, absolutely not. And going back to your 3 Ps, oh my gosh, yes, they're amazing. And people absolutely need to know who they're speaking to. But then the next level is action.
Absolutely.
And that is the cutoff. That is what separates the sabotage entrepreneurs from the successful entrepreneurs. I say the stuck on ready ones. But that's what you have to do, because you literally want to speed up in the right direction and take empowered action. Because without action, if you learn all the most magnificent marketing strategies that Samantha will teach you, it's like you have to get to the next level of taking imperfect action to get to massive results for business growth.
Yeah. I think too many times people get really comfortable with teaching, and they're like, here are some tips about my industry. Here are some frequently asked questions. Here are some statistics, which is valuable because it leverages your expertise, right? But then what's next? Like, I am always thinking about, okay, what's next? When you have a post, why do you have a call to action? Because people want to know what's next. So we as the business owners need to get out of the passenger seat, get in the driver's seat, and direct our audience on what we want them to do next. Bridget has her scheduling calendar right there. And her name on the screen, right? That's a perfect example. Is that, are you directing your audience, whether it's on social media, networking meetings, email marketing, podcasts, are you giving them a next step? Because that is how you move from stranger to, kind of a friend, someone that you know, to a friend, to a trusted person, to that next step. It's a whole kind of path. And technology and social media will actually shrink that timeline for you, where I remember everything was in person, and I could only see people that were in like drivable zip codes, right?
Oh, wow.
Because social media and technology, there are no limitations now.
No.
But we have to remember that just because there's no limitations doesn't mean that we give ourselves our own limitations, because we think, oh, well, this is the only thing I can do. Don't pigeonhole yourself in 2024.
Agreed. Well, when you sell yourself limiting beliefs, you typically sell everybody else your limiting beliefs, and then they buy them, and they're expensive. They'll cost out of your Serenity account, your Sanity account, and your real bank account.
Yeah. So
addressing those are important.
So everybody, thank you for hopping on today. We could probably talk for hours. We could probably just sit here and just 100%. Anyway. But for anyone watching, thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you are watching it live, put #live in the comments. If you are watching the replay, put #replay. Bridget and I want to make sure that we stay in contact with all of you. Stay tuned. In about 20 seconds, I'm going to put all the links there for you to reach out to Bridget and to myself. We both have some free stuff that we want to give to you as well. But yeah, guys, the year is just getting started, and I think sometimes, okay, what's today's date? I don't even know. The
9th. It's time to press down on the gas, people. Come on. People.
So a couple takeaways from today: avoid shiny object syndrome. Okay. Find programs that are really going to help you move forward this year, and timeless strategies for growth. Number 2, make sure that you know who you're talking to with the 3 Ps. Know who you're talking to with your people. What platforms are you choosing? And this is not just social media. This can be social media, YouTube, email marketing, networking. I recommend have 5 to thrive. Have 5 strategies on a weekly basis where you're meeting prospects and nurturing those relationships. And then number 3, what Bridget talked about, is taking action. You can build your expertise in so many ways, but then what are you doing next to transition somebody from a nurture marketing relationship to an actual customer or client? So, Bridget, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you spending time with me. It's always fun. And everybody watching, have an incredible week. You have so much to offer the world, so don't limit yourself. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.